Today we're gonna rate cards from Legends, a very legendary set to start off not only with legendary creatures, but I think it was one of the first, maybe the first multicolor set, and they went above and beyond. I mean, this is where Nicol came from. Now everyone knows Nicol, but let's take a look at the other Elder Dragons. We got Arcades Sabbath. This is a blue, white, green, 2 generic, 7/7 Elder Dragon with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gotta sack it unless you pay 3 mana. Well, already we're on a bad start. Untapped non-attacking creatures you control get +0/+2. What, like, is it supposed to buff up my walls? And you pay a white. Arcades Sabbath himself gets +0/+1 until end of turn. You don't say! Yeah, so, I mean, this is just all pure defense. Back then, I think even still today, some people love the idea of a great defense. As if a great defense somehow is a good offense. But no, a great defense is just good at doing nothing. So, it's huge thumbs down for me. Cumulative upkeep on an 8-mana creature that doesn't even buff up my board, like all the time, situationally, get out of here. Trump would love Sabbath. There's gonna, yeah, Arcades Sabbath is gonna build a wall and make Urza pay for it. All right, we got Chromium, a black, blue, white, 2 generic, 7/7 Elder Dragon with Rampage 2. Was that the first that we see of Rampage? Whenever this creature becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn for each creature blocking it beyond the first. It's got flying, and that's it. And by the way, you also have to pay 3 mana every turn. You gotta sack this thing. Very underwhelming 8-mana card. I guess the best honestly, the most broken ability on this thing is the flying. Completely useless. What is a legendary set? Well, this set. The legendary creatures. Only one in play. I don't even know what the rules were for legendary creatures back then. All right, another Elder Dragon. We got the Palladium Moors. A white, green, red, 2 generic, 7/7 flying and trample. Now that actually does something. So even if you have a blocker in the air, I mean, you're just gonna blast it away. At the beginning of your, and then you have to be in your upkeep, you have to pay 3 mana. This is not really bad. It's bad. I don't want to pay 8 mana for this thing, but it, you know, it's pretty hard to block a flyer. And then so if you chump block with, like, I don't know, Stormcrow, it won't even matter because you're going to trample over that thing. This is, given the other cards, I'll give this a little bit of a pass. It's a little bit better than the other ones. All right, we got the other Elder Dragon, Vivictus Asmadi. Green, red, black, 2 generic for a 7/7 flyer. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this thing unless you pay 3 mana. Oh, wow, this thing is way better. Look, it's got fire breathe. Oh, it's weird. This looks like an AI-generated card. It's like, pay a black, get +1/+0 until end of turn. Pay a red, also get +1/+0 until end of turn. Pay a green, get +1/+0 until end of turn. I'm not paying that much mana for that. Well, I guess it's like a super Shivan Dragon. But why don't I just play Shivan Dragon, and I basically have the same creature? Looks like the scary eel in Super Mario 64. Yeah, I guess so. The eel gonna come get ya. Don't touch it. It's electric. And then we got, of course, Nicol. You know what's more important than taking over the multiverse? Knowledge. Nicol looks so much more humble in this picture. This is the scariest evil villain in all of Magic the Gathering. Outside of maybe Emrakul. He's just sitting there in his library, reading a good book. Flying, an opponent damaged by Nicol must discard entire hand. Ignore this effect if opponent has no cards left in hand. Which they won't! Because you spent 8 mana on this thing. And you still have to spend 3 more mana. These are all fails. In my opinion. Okay, yeah, knowledge is power, Nicol. The origin of this thing probably is from Nicol. All right, we got Fire. Thanks so much for the super chat. Hey, Nikachu, hope you're doing well. My favorite legend from that side is Angus. Mackenzie. Sounds very similar to my name. All right. Don't dox yourself, Fire. Don't dox. 3 mana for a 2/2. You pay Bant, tap, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. That is not bad. That is one of the better cards I think that we are going to see in this set. At least it does. If you're going to play Fog, at least make sure that it's a repeatable Fog. None of that Spore Frog or actual Fog effects and then you're wasting cards. You get to tap this thing over and over again. Holy moly! This is a $350 card! $350! Okay, that's a cash money card right there. Look through your bulk, people. The Fogging Angus Mackenzie. People love their Fogs. That's how bad people want to play the Fogging archetype. Alright, it's Nikachu approved too. I give it a pass. It's a good one. It's one of the better ones, in my opinion. Tabernacle. Undisputably, I think it's the most broken land in the game. You could argue Strip Mine, but this thing, it's legendary land. Not that it matters. All creatures have at the beginning of your upkeep, sack this creature unless you pay 1. So it just puts a tax on everything that every single little stupid creature you play for eternity. Turns out, so I've been looking a little into Vintage, and 2 of the most broken decks are like these Madness decks and these Dredge decks. They cannot beat this card very well. Like, forget all the other types of sideboard cards. Apparently, Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale is undisputably one of the best sideboard cards in Vintage. So you need like 3 to 4 of them, which sucks because they're like $2,500 a piece. Probably the most expensive sideboard card in existence. Because, like, if a Dredge player puts 1 billion creatures on the battlefield through any means, they can't pay the upkeep because all they got is, like, Bazaar of Baghdad to, like, as lands, and doesn't even tap for mana. This thing doesn't even tap for mana. Anyway, that's undisputably broken. Yeah, now that we compare this to the Elder Dragons, all the Elder Dragons are trash in comparison to this. Okay, we got Arethusa with Caracas. Another one of the best lands in the game. Banned in Commander because it defeats the purpose of Commander. Just like in Vintage, how they ban like Chalice of the Void because Chalice on 0 defeats the purpose of playing Black Lotus and the Moxen. But great card. I mean, if you're playing, you don't even need to be playing white to play this card. In, like, Legacy, everyone plays a Caracas because it's just a great counter to, like, Reanimator decks or Show and Tell decks that play legendary creatures. You tap to add a white, or you tap, return target legendary creature to its owner's hand. Unbelievable. Oh, you want to see the old art? Yeah, we got... This is a Legends set. We need to see the classics. Look at that thing. All the way off in the distance. Looks like... I don't know. It's the Eiffel Tower of MTG. You look at that tap symbol. That's a classic. The tap symbol went through a lot of history, by the way. Return target legend to its owner's hand. Enchantments on target legend are destroyed. Back then, I don't think that was very clear, but I guess... Or were the first legends only creatures? Maybe that's why it was worded like that. There weren't legendary artifacts, legendary enchantments, or anything like that yet. So when they say return target legend, it's like the only thing you can bounce is a creature. To make a prairie, it takes a clover and 1 bee, 1 clover and a bee, and reverie. I have no idea what that means. That sounds AI generated in my opinion. But it's a great card. Platonic Liquid. Urborg. The Urborg. Yeah, like what is... There we go. From Legends. You're saying it's anti-Swamp Walk tech. So we can tap it out of black to our mana pool. And also it plays around... I don't know. Okay, I get what you're saying. It's a swamp, but it's not a swamp. Because it just taps out of black. Remove first strike ability or swamp walk ability from target creature until end of turn. That's not bad. Except for the fact that it's a non-basic. I mean, that's the only downside. It actually is like a swamp with upside. You can remove first strike from creatures. I like it. The only problem is that whenever you would play this card, it's weak to Blood Moon or Wasteland. Or back to basics. But outside of that, it's like, it's literally add black mana to your mana pool, and has swamp and has like upside. What is the blue one? It's like so bad. It's like tap during upkeep, remove the banding or bands with other ability from target creature until end of turn. Probably at the time that card was pretty good, but that did not stand the test of time at all. We don't have to worry about bands with other creatures. They are grossly, completely outclassed by today's standards. Modestus, I had no idea this existed. That is the charm of Coffee and MTG. You learn about all sorts of stupid cards that you never knew existed. Banding doesn't Zyber in the first place, right? Okay, Wes, that plays music, says, morning, Sabo is in my anti-commander tech. Which Sabo? Was it reprinted? No, this was from Invasion. Not Legend, not very legendary. These are all legendary. I don't think any of these cards are actually... Not from Legends. Okay, let's look at Amro. There we go. That's a legendary card, or that's a Legends card. By the way, we're rating. Okay, we're rating the set Legends. Maybe that wasn't clear. So all the cards from Legends, but not actually legendary creatures. Maybe we'll do that another day. Thought he was older? Oh, okay, I see. It is, yeah, that Sabo is an old card, but not old enough. Amro the Kithkin. So it's like the hobbits of the time. White, 1/1 creature. Creatures with power greater than 2 may not be assigned to block Kithkin. Blockers power may be increased after blocking has been assigned. What the hell does that mean? Okay, Oracle text time. Amro Kithkin can't be blocked by creatures power 3 or greater. I had no idea. That's it? That's all. What about the rest of the Kithkins? Creatures with power greater than 2 may not be blocked to block Kithkin. Oh, they're talking about this Kithkin, not Kithkin in general. Oh, okay. Well, that sucks. This is just a 1/1 creature. I didn't really need to get it in there. I didn't need to get that 1 damage in that badly. Kithkin, what is that? Never heard of them. Sounds like a halfling. It is! It's literally halflings. It's literally it's the Magic the Gathering equivalent of hobbits. There are quite a few Kithkins out there. Okay, we got 101 Arg. Fun fact about All Hallows Eve. At one point, it was errated to be an enchantment. Weird. All Hallows Eve. Also from the Legends set, Black 2 generic sorcery. Put 2 counters on this card. Remove a counter during your upkeep. Yeah, that's weird. We're putting counters on the sorcery? My brain, it doesn't know how this works. Okay, hold on. I'm not even going to read the regular text. Exile. Okay, you have to exile. There were some extra steps involved. Exile All Hallows Eve with 2 scream counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if All Hallows Eve is exiled with a scream counter on it, remove a scream counter from it. If there are no scream counters on it, put it into your graveyard. Each player returns all creature cards from their graveyards to the battlefield. Holy smokes! That's insane. So it's Living End. It's actually a more expensive version of Living End. Put all creatures from their graveyard onto the battlefield. It's that's actually a good card. All right, it's a little clunky, like it's slow. You're gonna pay 4 mana and wait 2 turns, but I mean, it will do the job. It'll do what you want it to do. Legends is the reason AI is the way it is. Took too much inspiration from the Legends set. Oh, we did. Oh God, I'm so sorry about that. You little Ted. Okay, maybe in time. All Hallows Eve. Yeah, All Hallows. There's your card right there. Thank you very much for the super chat. I was a little late on that one. Bulky with Cocoon, legendary on how bad it is. Legendary crap. Okay, we got a green in Aura. Tap target creature you control and put 3 counters on it. Target creature does not untap as normal while it has one or more of these counters on it. Remove one counter during your upkeep. During your upkeep phase after the one in which the last counter was removed, Cocoon is destroyed and target creature gains +1/+1 and flying. Flying was that broken. So how many turns are we waiting for this thing? The flavor is on par. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 on flavor, but like it's so bad. It's just terrible. This is a degree beyond. I would like to basically stun my own creature for several turns in exchange for giving it a small buff and giving it flying. Which, by the way, a lot of creatures fly these days anyway. The Blackbird. Sorry, a Blackbird, the Wretched. Okay, black 3 generic for a 2/5 demon. At the end of combat, gain control of all creatures blocking the Wretched as long as you control the Wretched. So just don't block it. It's not even a menacing creature in the first place. Unique ability, but like you need to get people to block that thing. I guess what? That's when you play Lure. Everything blocks this thing. I'm gonna take all your stuff. If only you can target. That would make it better. Hold on, so what's the errata on the Cocoon? You can't. No, it's only creatures you control. Giant creature you control. Yeah, if you could do it, that would make it a very interesting card. Truth be told, you basically stun their creature for a few turns, and then like the downside is that, you know, it gets a little bit better, a little bit bigger at the end of it. Oh, we did all the Elder Dragons at the beginning. Oh, we got King Ginger, Presence of the Master. Oh, they reprinted this card. Oh, Einstein. That's lore. Einstein. This is weird. They got Saturn here. What are these all of our planets in our solar system? That's just a bit bizarre. Earth is part of the lore in Magic the Gathering. All right, we got a white 3 generic enchantment. While Presence of the Master is in play, any new enchantments cast or countered. That's broken. That's insane. And it's not on the reserve list. While Presence of the Master is in play, let me look at this. Whenever a player casts an enchantment spell, counter it. This is completely broken. This is absolutely insane card. I didn't even know this card existed. Well, I was familiar with this Einstein card, but I didn't know that this is what it did. Albert Einstein and MTG is canon. It is. Physics. He'll explain how magic works. Actually, he'd be like, how does this work? I don't know if Einstein would be for or against magic. This doesn't make any sense. It defies all physics. What would you say is the most what would you consider the most useful bans with Legends land? I have no idea. They're all useless in my opinion. The Land's Edge. Okay, well, let's look at Land's Edge. This is a Legends card. Red 1 generic enchant world. Any player may discard a card from hand at any time. If that player discards a land, Land's Edge does 2 damage to target player of the discarding player's choice. But any player gets to use this. This is also a sick card. I think any burn player would want to play this. Like, basically turns all your top deck lands into shocks. Any player may discard a card from their hand at any time. If that player discards a land. Hold on. What the hell? Oh. This actually isn't a weird card. Okay, so you discard a card. You could discard anything, which would be great for a dredge player. But if the discarded card was a land card, it deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. Oh, you can't even hit the creatures. Any player may activate this ability. So if you're like a red deck, you could play with weak, fast creatures, and your opponent can't even snipe them off. This is an incredible card that I'd never heard of. This is the first time that I've come to know that this card exists. This man loves the Herald guy. Well, these are very unique cards. This is not done by Herald, by the way. This is Brian. Alright, Crowcore Games, Cosmic Horror. We've got the black 3 generic 7/7 horror with first strike. At the beginning of your upkeep, unless you pay black... What? You have to pay this whole damn thing? Repeat paying the casting cost at your upkeep. Unless, and if you don't sacrifice Cosmic Horror and it deals 7 damage to you. And all it is a 7/7 creature. This is a perpetually... You have to perpetually paying its casting cost over and over again. This is absolutely beyond terrible. I would almost argue this is worse than Cocoon. Well, I don't know. I don't know how this would actually play in practice. But basically, you can't cast anything else. And I wouldn't even say the first strike is even meaningful. Then flash the living lightning from her eyes, and screams of horror rend the affrighted skies. Alexander Pope, the Rappe of the Loch. Be careful what I say on camera here. You own the Cosmic Horror? Yes, well, whatever. Moving on, Dizzy. What do you got, Dizzy? I forgot Cleanse was ever printed. Morning, everyone. Cleanse. Whoops. Oh, I don't know how to find this one. That is one of the culturally sensitive cards. How do we look up Cleanse? Quotation marks? I can't find this thing. I'm so sorry. I can't find... Can we Google it? Okay, hold on. Let's see if we Google it. Cleanse MTG. There we go. Open image in new tab. I found it. I can't even open the image in a new tab. How do I get this thing? It's just blank nothing. Look, I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. Not FBI is tracking you now. They're looking hard. They're tracking my every movement. Okay, can you sort of see it from here? It's basically destroy all black creatures. Objectively strong card within Magic the Gathering. Objectively strong. Very good hate card. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. That's all I'm gonna say about it. All right, it's hyper banned. It's so banned I can't even look for it anymore. Its existence is getting ripped from the internet. All right, what else do we have? Falling Star. Oh, they continued the weird dexterity cards through this? Oh, I thought that was only for like alpha and beta. All right, Falling Star. I'm not reading all this. One problem with the old classic cards is that the wording, the templating was just garbage. They don't even make any sense. Okay, we have flip Falling Star into the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. It deals 3 damage to each creature it lands on. Tap all creatures dealt damage by Falling Star. If Falling Star doesn't turn completely over at least once during the flip, it has no effect. I think the card is crap. I think this card is absolute garbage. It's like a 3-mana lightning bolt. They can't even hit players. Can you hit planeswalkers? Did they errata it to say it deals 3 damage to each creature? You just space out your cards and it doesn't actually do anything. Hit you with the star, then play Chaos Orb back to back. The Chaos Orb is a little bit better because it'll just blow everything up. Dexterity card says, danger, shred it. Yes, to the pits with this thing. Shred them all. Can Falling Star come back if the effect changed so it can only hit a single card? I don't know what you mean by that, to be honest. Imagine playing Falling Star and then copying it 1,000,000 times. I didn't think about that. And then you have to like flip like 1,000,000 Falling Stars. I guess effectively you probably would hit every single thing. Play this in Magic the Gathering Online. I don't think it's coded in there. It does not exist. Okay, Toilet Duck. The Floral Spasm. What a bizarre card. Okay, we got a green 3 generic 2/2 Spasm. If Floral Spasm attacks an opponent and... Okay, if it attacks an opponent and is not blocked, then the Spasm may choose to destroy target artifact under that opponent's control and deal no damage. Oh, it's like Ophidian, but for artifacts and enchantments. Not bad. Would never play this card, but it's actually like one of the better utility cards that I'm seeing in the Legends set. Attack, and then, yeah, as Richard Garfield intended to play with a lot of dexterity cards. Notice how when you took Richard Garfield out of the equation, all of a sudden we didn't have that wacky, weird stuff. Alright, next super chat, we got Gorlord! Mold Demon. Crap rare, interesting art. Mold Demon. Oh yeah, this guy. This reminds me... I don't know what this reminds me of, but it looks really familiar. Black, 5 generic for a 6/6 Mold Demon. When Mold Demon is brought into play, controller must sacrifice 2 swamps where Mold Demon is buried. Honestly, that is not bad compared to the other costs that you have to pay. Like that 7/7 first striker, you got to pay 6 mana every turn. At least you just sack 2 swamps and just be done with it. That being said, I'm not sacking my swamps, and I don't want to cast a 6/6 basically vanilla creature for nothing. Don't touch my swamps. Leave my swamps alone. Kevin! Cathedral of Sarah. There's one for each call. Is there? Well, I don't know the other ones. Cathedral of Sarah. Land. All your white legends gains bans with other legends. That's why they had Teleria. To undo all that banding that you're doing. Looks like something you would see in the chalk zone. You mean like in a school playground? Look what I made. Yeah. 101 ARG. Francis Bacon's artwork. I have no idea who that is. Who's France? We're gonna go on a little bit of rabbit hunt. Francis Bacon art. I don't see it, to be honest. When I look at this. Actually, Francis Bacon looks like he makes AI art before AI art even existed. Man. No wonder AI makes all this weird crap. Because there's a lot of weird crap out there. Aye, the philosopher, says the jaded. Did I do this right? There's not any actual philosopher. You don't have the right name. I have no idea. King Ginger with the Sylvan Library. So, Sylvan Library, green, 1 generic enchantment. One of the best card draw spells. This is like the original card draw spell, except it's like Brainstorm in addition. So, it's a green, 1 generic. You may draw 2 cards during your draw phase, then either put 2 of the cards drawn this turn back on top of your library, or lose 4 lives per card not replaced. Effects that prevent or redirect damage may not be used to counter this loss of life. I always wondered with this card, how much weird, like the thing is you technically draw the cards, but like you can't add it to your hand because you might have to put the cards back on top of your library, and you only pay life for the cards that you drew off the top of your deck right then and there. So like if you mix them with your hand, is like, are you committed to keeping those cards? Because at that point you don't even know what you drew that turn, or your opponent doesn't know. Anyway, weird card. Amazing card. One of the best card draw spells. Still sees play in Legacy. Still sees play. This card is a headache, but mainstay in Legacy. And Commander. Look how many times they printed this thing. Look, that's a Commander symbol right there. They reprint Sylvan Library to its death. Alright, we are going to look at way more cards from our Legends sets, but we got to thank our sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com. You got to check in at FusionGamingOnline.com because every single week there's a new deal of the week. And it appears that it is the same deal of the week as last week. You probably have 1 hour to get a hold of those Dominaria products for 15% off. If you need any Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth singles, they will ship internationally. And don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu to get 5% off all your purchases, and it supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Play any format, any set you want, unlock your creativity, or play the tier 1 decks of the format without the fear of it getting banned, because your cards don't get banned when you're renting from Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below. Save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_B3R. All right, let's get back to business here. Yeah, these are really so it's interesting. So far in Legends, the card is either a stone cold staple or it is a forgotten myth. Just absolute crap that we don't even need to look at anymore. Trance with the super chat. Transwarp Visions. What? There's literally a card called Visions? Oh, there is? Neat arts. It's like Kamigawa block art before Kamigawa. Okay, we got a white sorcerer. You may look at the top 5 cards of any library. You may then choose to shuffle that library. That is a very, very unique card. Interesting stuff. Terrible, though. Now, if you could draw a card at the end of it. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. You end up paying 8 life if you keep both, which kind of sucks. If you talk about, yeah, Sylvan Library, hey. You gotta, I want to say you need to spend money to make money. You're not spending anything. You gotta pay life to get cards. Life is a resource. Use it. Otherwise you could be dead anyway and not have drawn any cards at all. What do we have next? Will Anderson, Fortified Area. A legend. Okay, white, 1 generic enchantment. Oh, your walls gain +1/+0 when banding. No, I'm just kidding. This card sucks. This is a really bad card. It's like it's a bad anthem. It's like a bad. Oh no, you get banding, so I guess that's the bonus. But it's your walls. The wall deck. Whatever. Liquid Soulfly. What's your cards? Nikachu never picks my card. What's your card? Okay, I'm gonna look for you, Adrian. Petra Sphinx. Look, I try to get around to everyone. It's hard. Then we'll get to, you keep trying. Eventually get around to you. Alright, Petra Sphinx. We got a white, 2 generic, 3/4 Sphinxy. Can we just, like, look at one of these? Okay, tap. Target player names a card, then reveals the top card of his or her library. If the card is the name card, that player puts it into his or her hand. If it isn't, the player puts it into his or her graveyard. Then that player... That's interesting. That combos with that other card. The Visions. It's a bad combo, but a combo nonetheless. I guess this card really breaks, what's it called? Sensei's Divining Top. So it's not the worst, but it's not, I don't know, 5 mana for this effect is like really deep, in my opinion. But like, I see it as potential. It actually has some like combo potential. Okay, what was Liquid Sulfide's Mana Drain? Oh, this is one of my favorite cards. This is one of those cards that were like a little bit too, it was like a little bit out of my price range when I was a kid, but I always wanted it. And I never bought it when I was a kid because it was like a little bit too much mana for a card that was banned. Okay, it's a blue. Counters target spell. At the beginning of your next main phase, add X to your mana pool, where X is the casting cost of target spell. And as many people say, that was not exactly a feature. That was a bug. Because mana burn. If you don't use that mana, if you don't use it, you lose it, and you lose it at the cost of your life. For all the mana that you didn't spend. So if you got like countered something that was 7 mana, you didn't spend that 7 mana, you took 7 damage. There was a little bit of a cost to it. It was not strict upside. Ed Shima? Schemia? Okay, Ed Schemia. Spiritual Sanctuary. Reserve list because of rarity, not because it danger. Legends. Hold on, I need the English one. Spiritual Sanctuary, 4 mana. Enchantment, any player with planes under his or her control gains 1 life point during his or her upkeep. Yeah, enjoy that 1 life. It is very much not worth it. You basically could have, there's like a lot of cards out there that like at your upkeep gain a life. You don't even need a planes. I guess this could help your friend that also has a plains. Have we done Chain Lightning? We haven't, actually. This is a card that still sees play in Legacy, actually. Like, if you need Lightning Bolt 5, 6, 7, and 8, boom, Chain Lightning. It's basically the same thing. Red Sorcery deals 3 damage to any target, just like Lightning Bolt. The only downside is if your opponent has mana, they can copy this thing. Then that player or that permanent's controller can pay double red. If the player does, they can copy the spell and choose a new target for the copy. So, against red decks, just make sure that the red player is tapped out, alright? They're a little low on the red mana. Their tank is empty. Other, they're going to chain this thing back at you. Or make sure you have more red mana than they do. Alright, next super chat, we got Rage Furious, who wants to look at Greed. Was this the Greed? Hold on. Oh, wow! I didn't know Greed originally came from Legends. It's enchantment for 4 mana, pay a black 2 life, draw a card. The card's great. There's like nothing wrong with this card. Fair Necropotence, really. Very fair Necropotence. You have to pay the mana, and you have to pay like a lot of life to soak up all that to draw them cards. Still great though. So like the Modern Horizons 2 version, 2 cents, but the Legends version, big money, 63 bucks. Let's bash all the vanilla Legends at once with Jetit Ogenen. Jetit. There we go. Vanilla Legend. Hey, the upside. Hey, back then, being vanilla was a good thing. Because alternately, you could pay 7 mana and then pay upkeep costs every single turn. The fact that this had no text on it was a good thing. Like I think when you looked up your Legends cards, you're like, oh please, don't have any bad, you know, what's the catch to this card? Oh, this thing has no catch to it. It's literally 7 mana for a 5/5 creature. Yes! Great card. And by great, I mean, like it's pointless by today's standards. It's so bad. Dizzy Blizzy. Gwendolyn D. Corsi. Gwendolyn, when Wizards of the Coast tried to be like a little bit edgy. I really don't know what the lore is behind this. It's 4 mana for a 3/5 human rogue. Tap, target player discards a card at random. Activate this ability only during your turn. Well, it's not useless. I can imagine back then when the game was a lot slower, that might have been a more useful ability. Today, it's crap. Urborg became the final resting place of many swordsmen and renown their steel, outmatched by the vials of Gwendolyn. My wife beat me with Stormseeker the other day. Can't remember what that is. Christopher B says, G first strike, Hornet Cobra. Hornet Cobra. There we go. Okay, we got a green, 1 generic, 2/1 first striker. That's it. Crap card by today's standard. That's absolutely horrible. I tried to get the president of Wizards of the Coast to sign a Greed card. Really? What's his name? It's Chris Cox. Oh, no, he's not. No, he was CEO. I don't know who the president of Wizards of the Coast is. CEO and president are 2 different things. Armon Rasputin. And as we have talked about before, this is not the Russian Rasputin, but it is a name taken from that Rasputin. It's a completely different. This is Rasputin, the fictitious character. It's a blue-white 4 generic 4/1 with a lot of words on it. Enters the battlefield with 7 dream counters on it. Remove a dream counter from Rasputin. Add 1 generic to your mana pool. That's actually pretty good. Remove a dream counter from Rasputin. Prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to Rasputin this turn. And you better do that because it's only a 4/1 creature. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if Rasputin started the turn untapped, put a dream counter on it. Rasputin can't have more than 7 dream counters on it. Weird. So you can perpetually add. This is really not the worst card. I actually like it. I think this holds up a little bit. It's not the most overpowered card, but you can convert. It pays for itself. I mean, it's actually netting mana. You can add 7 mana to your mana pool, and also it keeps adding mana like every single turn. President of Wizards of the Coast is Cynthia Williams, formerly president of Philip Morris. She got in trouble for marketing cigarettes to... Whoa. Had no idea. We did Tabernacle. We did Krakus. Chains of Mephistopheles. Hold on, is that a super chat? Oh, I have to, oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. We'll do Chains. Chains of Mephistopheles. I don't even know if this card is good, but I do know that it is very expensive. If a player would draw a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, that player discards a card instead. If the player discards a card this way, they draw a card. If the player doesn't discard a card this way, they mill a card. This is the original Hull Breacher. That player discards a card instead. So basically, they discard cards if they were to draw extra cards, but then if they have no cards in hand, they have to mill cards. Weird card. There was probably a better way of explaining this stupid thing. Gorelord! Stormseeker. Green can do anything. Were they setting the precedent a long time ago? Okay, 4 mana. It does 1 damage to an opponent for each card in his or her hand. Oh my god, it's a burn spell! Yeah, discard your cards. That being said, I don't really like it. I don't think it's a very impressive card. It mills if they have no hand, cast a bunch of wheels, and watch them salt. Ah, I see. So even more, put more stuff into the graveyard. Okay, generic with Moat. Now, Moat is broken. Moat is... And Moat doesn't even make any sense to me. Because of, like, there's certainly a lot of things that can get through a moat. It's just water, for crying out loud. Well, you can't even bring a boat? Okay, well, like, what about a ship? Can a ship get through a moat? So the moat is a 4 mana enchantment. Creatures without flying can't attack. Which is a great card, insane. Like, I'm not arguing the power level of Moat here. But flavor-wise... Only the flyers can get through the moat. There's like Pirate Ship. Where's Pirate Ship? Yeah, Pirate Ship. You're telling me this cannot get through a moat? It's impossible? Moat is greater than the ship, apparently. It just completely blows it away. Okay, what do we got next? We got some super chats. We got, Yo Little Ted. Ramses. Overdark. This combos with Rancor. Does it? Oh! But there is... Oh. But you can't... Can you... No, yeah, you can put Rancor on other people's cards. Alright, so you have black, black, blue, blue, 2 generic for a 4/3. Destroy target enchanted creature. The funny thing, though, like, there's very few enchanted creatures out there. I guess maybe in Commander, it's like a little bit more popular to use auras, but in competitive Magic, it's terrible. There's just such a high chance of getting 2 for 1. So the only aura deck out there is like a hexproof deck, which means you can't even target it. Anyway, I think this card's not very good. 10 out of 10 art, though. I think that's a very nice art. What's with this Richard Kane Ferguson guy? Did he, like, do a bunch of art, like, a long time ago and then was in retirement for, like, 25 years and now he's making art again? Like, I barely heard of this guy until recently, but now that I'm looking at the old stuff, it's like, it looks like he did a lot of work for Wizards of the Coast, like, way back in the day. Eureka! You put Rancor on their critter instead. Yeah, I get it. How many Rancors do you have in your deck? Rancor! Oh, sorry. Eureka! 4 mana show and tell. Starting with you, each player may put a permanent card from his or her hand onto the battlefield. Repeat the process until no one puts a card on the battlefield. No, I'm sorry. It's a Hypergenesis. Or I guess Hypergenesis is the Eureka. You should be very careful what card came out first. $600! Do you see this? That's how good this card is. Part of the reserve list. Richard Kane Ferguson is one of the most legendary MTG artists. He is my favorite. Have a signed Lady of the Mountain. And the Magic historian would know because he is the historian. We got a little history lesson there from the Magic historian himself. Not sure he's retired. Just wasn't commissioned by Wizards of the Coast. Well, no, I'm just saying he sort of went into retirement as far as we saw his work from Wizards of the Coast. Now he's back. He's back and better than ever. Okay, what do we got? Do we have any more super chats right now? Nope. Nether Void. Do we look at Nether Void? Oh yeah, this thing's insanely broken. Black 3 generic for World Enchantment. Whenever a player plays a spell, counter it unless its controller pays 3. So bizarre. But that card is beyond nuts. It's like one of the best taxing cards I think in the game. Is anything taxes more than this? It's just perpetually, you're gonna pay this. It's like worse than Ristic Study. Are you gonna pay the 3? Are you gonna pay the 3? Are you gonna pay the 3? And that's a huge tax. This requires like way more. What's it called? Requires way more mana than Sol Ring can provide. Artists are given a title and abilities. They have no idea what they are drawing, according to Melissa Benson. Maybe back then. I think they're given, or actually I don't know. Sometimes they're, I was told that, or I heard that artists are told, yeah, this is going to be a good card. In some sense. I'm a little surprised no one plays Nether Void. This card's just broken. It's just stupid. It's the greatest counterspell that's not blue. We did Nicol Bolas. Planar Gate. What's up here? 6 mana, artifact. Pay up to 2 less than required whenever casting a summon spell. So this is... That's a very fancy way of saying creature spells you cast cost up to 2 less to cast. Very bizarre. Also part of the reserve list. Oh, I'm also illustrated by Melissa Benson. Speak of the devil. She probably had... So what did you guys say? She didn't know? The artists don't know what they're making until they've made it. Anyway. Okay, how do I judge this card? I don't like it. Up to 2, like it, okay, so it makes the creatures cost 2 less, but this thing costs 6. So at that point, you already have the mana to cast whatever the hell you want. Oh yeah, we brought up the Tabernacle. It's one of those super popular cards. Is there a called card Fancy? No, there is not. Flight of Fancy exists. Rabid Wombat. The first Marsupial. The hell does that mean? It's a green 2 generic 0/1 vigilance. Gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. The original, I don't know, payoff for playing aura spells. The OG. It's terrible. In the Eye of Chaos. You guys seem to like your Eye of Chaos card. Blue 2 generic world enchantment. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, counter unless that player pays X, where X is its converted mana cost. This is a blue abyss card. Whatever the black thing we just saw. This card arguably is even worse. Because like if you play a 4 mana, if you play a 3 mana spell or higher, then you just have to pay like that much for the tax. This card is beyond stupid. Very, very, very good card. Really bad Toski. What's a bad Toski? Okay. If only Wombat were legendary, you could make a Voltron deck out of it? I guess so. Yeah, 2-man Ancestral Recall. Yeah, it's so fair now. Wombats are very vigilant, I guess. I don't know anything about wombats. Not a wombat person. YOLO! Underworld Dreams. Apparently was a highly reprinted card. Black, black, black. Underworld Dreams does 1 damage to opponent for each card he or she draws. Oh. I have a feeling like black players don't want to play this though, because they want to play with like Necropotence and all those other cards that let you cheat to draw cards. Like black is you could argue black draws cards better than blue does with the right cards. But I mean, hey, if you're not drawing cards, you might as well prevent other people from drawing cards. I think it is a good tax though. It's a good pain. Does 1 damage to each opponent for each card he or she draws. So like you're taking damage anyway, and it's only to the opponents. So basically everyone takes 1 damage. Oh, sorry, I forget. You could play Necropotence with this. It's it only affects the opponents, so you can draw all the cards you want. Yeah, this card's great. This card's fantastic. Very underrated card. I never heard of it until now. It's a bit sad that I've never heard of it, and it's been reprinted like 100 billion times. Good card. I play with it in my Control Burn deck. Oh, the Rakdos Burn, huh? That with Howling Mine is one of my first combo. The Howling Mine combo. It's mostly for casuals, I think. Well, you know, at least some of these casual cards are good. I think it's pretty good for a casual card. Okay, what are we missing anything here? Play with Shield Dread? Yeah, that'll work. Necropotence isn't draw anyway. Oh yeah, okay, that's true. Actually, that's right. Necropotence is actually not draw at all. Wheel of Fortune, Underworld Dreams. That's a combo. Top 10 Underworld Dream combos. All has to do with drawing cards. Or forcing your opponents to draw cards while you draw nothing. Okay, funny story. Floral Spasm's pre-errata text says the card itself may choose. That is weird. Floral Spasm. Oh yeah. Then Floral Spasm may choose to destroy target artifact under that opponent's control and deal no combat damage. Alright, Floral Spasm. What's it gonna be? Because apparently I'm not allowed to choose. You're the one who chooses. That's so weird. Darkness. Are they all... I forgot about Darkness. For all the Fog players. Oh, damn it. I can't find Darkness. There's so many Darkness cards. Where is the Darkness? There we go. The Dark. It's just Fog. You know how much I like Fog. I don't. Darkness is not very good. We do... Hold on. Darkness is... Yeah, it's just Black Fog. But Force Spike. Now. That's a hard... Whoops. That's a card hard to evaluate. It's not really good either. It's just... It's the blue... Oh, what is that stupid white card that people try to get other people with? I mean, like, yeah, that's the white Force Spike. So, Force Spike is the original blue. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. I have to say, it's good in Pauper, but outside of that, it's like, you better hope that your opponent... It's just a feel-bad counter spell. I mean, that's all it is. It's just a feel-bad... If you get hit with a Force Spike, yeah, it's the Mana Tithe. Mana Tithe is the blue Force Spike, and blue Force Spike is the blue... is the blue Mana Tithe. But it's just there to make your opponent regret for tapping out to play their spell. Other than that, like, it's... Because otherwise, it's too soft. Way too soft in the game. So, it does see play in one format, like Pauper, so I'll give it the pass, but, like, it's... As someone who loves their counterspells, you can't rely on this thing at all. Platonic Liquid! Did we do Indestructible Aura yet for the art? Well, we're not judging art today, but we will for the Super Chat. Indestructible Aura. What is this? It's some sort of bird, fish, human, centipede. I don't know what this body is. It's a white. Any damage dealt to target creature for the rest of the turn is reduced to 0. Look how vibrant those colors are. How many different creatures are being morphed into this thing? I didn't even know this is something that Mark Poole would make. What kind of instruction did the artist get for this card? Okay, judging by the actual stats, any damage dealt to target creature for the remainder of this turn is reduced to 0. Not a very useful card. What haven't we done yet? Toads! Axelrod Gunnarsson. Alright, 8 mana for a 5/5 trampler. And without a downside. It's basically a pass already for the set. It's a giant. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Axelrod Gunnarsson this turn is put into a graveyard, you gain 1 life and Axelrod deals 1 damage to target player. That is pure upside. This is one of the few legends that doesn't screw you in some way. And it's a decently big creature. But still crap by today's standards. Alright, what next we got? Gosta Dirk. One, is that the mana? Is that like the mana? I don't want to call it a mana dork. It's more like a mana titan. Oh no, it's not. Is this the remove creatures of island walk may be blocked as if they did not have this ability? For 7 mana, I don't want to pay. I don't want to play that card. Land. Oh, I don't think we did land tax. A card that just recently got banned in I think pre-modern. It's a white enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. If no, oh, let's look at the OG. This is a Legends stream. Look at that ugly guy. Okay, during your upkeep, if an opponent controls more land than you may search your library and remove up to 3 basic land cards. Put them into your hand, reshuffle your library afterwards. With great land comes great responsibility. So you'll never be mana screwed, and you'll always have an abundant number of lands in your hand to like discard, put on top of your library with brainstorm and shuffle it away. So like there's massive things you can do outside of just putting the lands onto the battlefield. You could use those lands in your hand to do other things. And also it thins your deck of mana, so you're not going to get mana flooded. So the people who don't like to get flooded, you go get your land tax. Still a great card by today's standards. I don't blame them for redrawing the artwork. Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at this art. I'm not vibing with this thing. And maybe you're not supposed to. This is like your landlord. Did they print a new? Okay, yeah, this is the new land tax. The land tax. You got to pay your property tax around here. This is the Magic the Gathering version of the rich Uncle Pennybags. You pay up. You hear? The guy in Land Tax's artwork retired from modeling for Brian Snoddy and went into comedy. Interesting. He goes by Carrot Top now. Could be. Is that a true story, or are you BSing me here? Could be. You never know what's real or what's fake. Okay, we got Jacob with Glyph. Glyph of Destruction. Or is it Glyph of Delusion? Well, is Glyph of... Oh, there is a Glyph of Destruction. All right. Red. Target wall you control gains plus 10 plus 0. Do I have a power-up sound effect here? I don't. Any damage dealt to target wall is reduced to 0. Target wall is destroyed at end of turn. What a garbage card. Is that it? We done today? I feel like we only got through like half the Legends set. Oh well, that's it though. That's how it is. That's how Coffee and G come, Coffee and MTG go. So as usual, my coffee crew, you want to be part of the show, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of the show. You're either a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be contributing to the show that we have every morning. But also, we got to thank everyone who shows up in the morning. People like PM, El Gran Fatso, Boulder. We got Toads, Adrian, Christopher, B, David, Yo Little Ted, King, Ginger, Crowcar Games, Zero, Requiem, 101 Arg, Crackling Goblin X. We got Jesse, Adrian, Steve Cooper, Mr. Deadhead, Zero Cool. Am I missing anybody? AK-47 and Johnny W for life. Because as usual, my coffee crew, without you guys, I'd have no show. So as usual, keep brewing up the coffees and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you guys at the next cup.